Okay, but you didn't come here to hear me discuss bands or promotions or anything else. You came here for blood. Don't lie. You came here to hear what I was going to say about certain people on this platform. Let me start with, let's rewind to about a week ago. I was listening to a certain show on this channel, which a lot of people listen to. Now, the thing that really scrambles my brain is that people say they hate this person, and they hate her show, and they don't like what she does, and still everybody congregates there. It's like comfort food, it's like soul food, it's like a diner where people go to hang out, even though the food's not that good, even though maybe the service is not that good, the waitresses are old and have beehive hairdos and smoke cigarettes, yet it's where everybody goes. It's where all the community goes to talk and hang out and enjoy swill cups of coffee. That is the equivalent of this particular show that I am talking about, and in a way, this show represents a microcosm of a nation of this kind of thing. Hatred bordering on fandom. Now, let's go back to a week ago. A week ago, I was listening, and yes, I'll admit it, I was trolling. I can't help myself sometimes. Sometimes I just feel like saying what's on my mind and putting it out there. In fact, there's a couple of other creative ventures that I work in that involve role-playing, where I play just probably the biggest asshole ever alive. And it's not me. I mean, in my normal life, I'm actually rather dull, to be honest with you. I'm not very exciting. I'm not very, I guess you could say, I'm not really bombastic. I don't go out there to make a fool of myself, especially since my mother passed away. I've calmed down quite a bit. And I've decided to take this nervous energy that has always been inside me and put it towards my creative interests. It only took me, 37 years to kind of figure that out? So, anyway, I was going off on a tangent there. So I'm listening to this show, and I'm listening to this lady speak to two of her guests. One of her guests is an old, crusty, former DJ who doesn't do it anymore and just kind of guests on her show from time to time. And the guy considers himself to be pretty badass. And there are people who say, I mean, this guy was on iHeartRadio. This guy was part of something large with a couple of other great broadcasters. And yeah, he may have scratched the front door of a terrestrial radio station. But he's nowhere close to a big name. And on the other hand, you had a fan of the show, the other person who was on the line. You had a fan of the show who during the call sounded just so happy to be there that he was pushing out this fake laughter at everything she said. The host could have said that her mother had died from syphilis, and he'd be like, ha, 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 oh God, you're so funny. So I'm getting annoyed at this point, and I'm thinking, God, why am I even listening? This is really annoying. And then they mention me. And they say that I am nothing, basically. They say I am just nothing. I am not anything to worry about. I'm nothing to listen to. I have no talent, nothing. Okay? And they said that I was going to quit in 2 weeks and that I was going to stop. Let me tell you guys, let me give you guys a little background as to what happened and why this stuck in my crotch so badly. Why it annoyed me and bothered me, and why I thought, damn, how dare these bastards? How dare these people? First of all, the guest, who knows nothing about me, decides that he's gonna chime in, and that it's real funny to just laugh at everything the host says. Just laugh at everything the host says. And that's just because he's one of these people who gets enamored by internet women. And I think this guy, I'm not a psychologist, but if I were to do a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe pseudo-psychological review of this gentleman, I would say that he's probably lonely, maybe divorced, either that or in a very loveless marriage, and he has glommed on to this woman and decided that she is going to be his fantasy. And she plays into this because it helps her ego as well. It helps her ego to know that men still desire her, and it makes her feel more confident in herself. There's nothing wrong with self-confidence, and there's nothing wrong with people who take that moment and that moment where maybe they get flirted with, or somebody says, "Hey, you look great today." And it's okay to feel good about that. It's all right to feel good about that and to say, "Oh, well, maybe I still got it." But very few people use it as their driving life force. Very few people use it as their main sustenance. Their reason for living is this constant barrage of attention. Well, she gets it. She gets it from everybody. So these people were basically telling me that I was going to quit, and for good reason, because in previous stints on Spreaker, I had big goals and aspirations. When I started with the radio connection, I had big goals and aspirations. I thought I was just going to blow it out because I was hearing from people in the industry that I was a fucking natural. I was hearing this from people, that I am a natural. I'm a natural at this. Oh, you should have a job already. They were telling me all this stuff. And I'm getting it on good, solid information that I am pretty good at what I do. So I came on to Spreaker with an ego, which is bad. I came on with an ego and nothing to back it up, because before I wasn't as polished. And now, with a little bit more polish and a little less ego, I think I'll be all right. But my first quit was when I felt like it would be a good idea to basically egg some people on who had nothing better to do with their time than look up my personal information and try to use it against me. Here's the thing, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not worth it, because there are people out there who will make it their sole mission to pester you. They'll make it their sole mission to try and scare you and stop you from doing what you want to do. There are people out there who it is their sole purpose in life to make people feel horrible and to scare people because they really don't have anything else. So, I got a little scared, I'll admit it, and then I started to reevaluate what I was doing. I started to reevaluate what going on this microphone every week or every other day or whatever, I was reevaluating whether or not this was good for me and most importantly for my family. I felt like I stepped in about 10 feet of quicksand, well, maybe 5 feet, so I could have my head up, and I looked around and I'm like, oh wow, this is quicksand. I can't get out of this. I'd better try and find a way. So I got out of it, and I quit. After that, I became such a perfectionist about my broadcasts that I tried numerous things. And every time they didn't meet my standards, I quit. Now, there was a time, folks, when I had listeners, when I had followers, when I had a ton of momentum. Well, when you quit a few times, that goes away, doesn't it? People stop listening. I had the reins of momentum, and now they're gone. It's been a struggle the last couple of years because of various issues, various adjustments I've had to make in my life. But one person I'd like to thank is Rick from Music Mafia Radio. because he understood that by taking me on, he was going to be taking a risk of this guy who'd quit several times, just would blow up everything, delete everything on his page, and just completely blow everyone off. It was getting to the point where I was starting to question my own sanity. You ever do things that you find crazy in hindsight and you find ridiculous? You can't go back and change them. You can't go back and rewrite history. All you can do is move forward. Yet there are people who will judge you from your history because that's all they know. Now, after doing Music Mafia Radio for a few months, I felt like I had my feet under me. My life was starting to congeal into place. I have 2 young children. I have a wife. I have a 40-hour-a-week job. It's not easy for me to commit to something at this time. My children are both under the age of 7. One is 7, one is 4. Whatever. But it's not very easy for me to set aside a block of time, and yet my wife has been so damn supportive that she says, whatever you want to do, whatever you can do, do it. So I'm here on Saturdays, and I cut up the show, and I do all of that. And she's been so supportive, and I gotta say, I couldn't have asked for a better partner. 8 years together. So there were some other instances where I acted a little weird and strange, but it was all in the vein of creativity, trying something new. When has that ever been a bad thing? This host has been doing the same damn show with the same damn people for years. That's called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And yet, this woman's soul food dining establishment of radio, this woman's comfort food, her bland meatloaf stories that she reads, her swill coffee conversation, it attracts people. And I don't know why. It attracted me. And then I had to come to the realization that it's because everybody is there. Everybody I know in this channel, everybody I speak to and talk to on this channel is there. So if I am to do any necessary networking, I have to be there. I have to be there in order to tell people, hey, I'm alive, you know? Because everybody congregates there. It's like the old diner on the corner with bad food that everybody goes to because it's there. So, just in response, and I'll get more mainstream in a moment, but just to focus on the response to this lady and her band of arrogant idiots who really don't do anything. I mean, they're all... I can't name one of these people who is employed. Honestly, I can't name one of these people that is employed, that is doing anything well with their time. Most of them are empty nesters. Most of them are people whose children have grown and they need a hobby. And then they get that little tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny bit of internet fame, and they're like, ooh. And so they play into it. But I have a message to this person. And I know you're listening. You're not blocked in the chat room, unlike me, who's blocked in yours. There is no way that I can contact you because you've blocked me. There is no way that you can contact me that I can't get a hold of you. So if you're listening, and this will be on Random Bites, by the way, this lady last night actually said that I deleted the episode that she played because I was scared of her. Then I posted my show in her chat, and what does she do? She deletes all evidence. I even joked that I reported her. I've never reported anybody.